Hey, before we get into it, this episode is brought to you by the George Poulos Patreon community. Thank you all for your loving support and presence. So over on the Patreon, we've got ad-free episodes of this podcast once a week. We've also got meditations and hangouts and quick update for the current patrons. I'm still in a little bit of a pause on the Zoom events, but around mid-April, I'm going to start releasing a monthly calendar of Zoom events. So it's going to be meditations, hangouts, live streams, creator artist support groups, things like that on a revolving schedule. So stay tuned for around mid-April for that. Yeah, that's at patreon.com/George Poulos if you want to support. And now let's get into the episode. Hey, and welcome back to the George Poulos podcast. Happy to be with you for the second week in a row, staying on schedule. So I'm really on this discipline kick right now. So I'm actually recording this episode on Saturday. It's Saturday evening. The sun is beginning to set. It's really peaceful. The breeze is coming in through the kitchen windows, and I'm recording today because I'm going on a little trip to see the total solar eclipse on Monday. So we're traveling to upstate New York to go see it. This will be the second total solar eclipse that I've seen, and it's questionable whether I will actually see it with my eyes. I'll certainly feel it with my being either way, but there is expected to be clouds. We're a few days out, so who knows if the weather will change, but we might not be able to see it with our eyes. We'll see. It'll be an adventure regardless. But yeah, I really don't think it's that hard to show up consistently online. I think that so much of what my procrastination and my hiding and my becoming overwhelmed is really about is fear and bad patterns. And I'm sort of in this place, and you might have picked up on this energy in the last episode, where I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I don't want to let those bad habits win. I like express myself. I like showing up online. I like sharing what's on my mind. I'm a creator. I'm an artist. It's a lifeline. It's a life force for me. I have to do it. I have to express myself. I have to be in a state of expression. And that's not to say there's no room for breaks, but even though I have this little trip coming up, I don't feel like I'm in a state of break. I'm not in a break. I'm in a state of intensity, and I'm enjoying honoring that I'm in that natural ebb and flow. And at this particular point, it's a period of intensity of creation. Anyways, what I wanted to reflect upon, and I wrote a little note on this little flower notepad. And here's another thing I realized about creativity. So I used to think that I had to that all the stars had to align for me to record a podcast. And I had to meditate and get in the right headspace and hit the right point of flow to where the words are just coming out and all of that. But what I've realized more recently is that you can let your gifts out whenever you want. All you have to do is open your mouth. You don't even have to necessarily write a plan. I'm talking to myself when it comes to recording the podcast, but I'm also talking to you all. It's very perfectionism is very seductive, and it can sneak up on you. But if you feel like it's difficult to create and express and share, it might be that perfectionism has crept in. I've really found that all I have to do is open my mouth and something will come out. Something wants to be expressed always. And I'm sure that's the case for all of you as well. But we can get into this habit of suppressing it so much that when you open your mouth, you clam up and you're like, oh, I don't have a plan. What do I say? It's not going to come out right. People aren't going to like it. Oh, hoopla. Okay, and this touches on the point I wanted to talk about in this video. So I've been thinking about this Marianne Williamson quote. So a while back, I read A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. It's a phenomenal book. As it says on the cover, A Return to Love is a reflection on the principles in A Course in Miracles. So after reading this book, I picked up A Course in Miracles, which has become one of my a foundational spiritual text, one of the most beautiful spiritual guidebooks I've ever laid my eyes upon. And it was introduced to me by A Return to Love, and I don't even have to dig into the book. The quote that I'm thinking of is right on the back. The quote is, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." And I've been really resonating with this quote this week because I think that inherently we each are absolutely dazzling, absolutely powerful, absolutely incredible, absolutely capable of everything. Literally anything we can think of, we are capable of it. That's what it means to be human. What we put our minds to, we can create in this reality, in our realities. So I think Marianne is right. That's really what we're afraid of. Because when you acknowledge how powerful we are, how capable we are, how beautiful we are, then it's like you have to do something about it. You have to listen to your inner call. Like, do you ever get the inner call to create or express or share or maybe even lead? Because I know I sure do. And usually what I do, what I've been in the habit of doing as I've grown up to this point, usually what I do is I say, "Oh, nah, someone else can do it," or "that's not me," or right, our limiting stories get in the way, and then we suppress the inner call. But guys, I think we're really powerful. I think we're really, really powerful. Like, just as a thought experiment, what if when you felt the call to express, to create, to share, to teach, to lead, what if every time you listen to it, you listen to it as if God was telling you to do something, or as if the universe was telling you to do something, or your intuition, or whatever you want to say? Like, why are we feeling these things? Why are we feeling like it's time to teach, like it's time to create art, like it's time to share art? And who are we to think that we shouldn't listen to those calls? So what if when you felt those calls, you just listened to them every time, boldly, powerfully? What if, what if? The ego really wouldn't like that. The ego is very afraid of that because that goes against your story of, "Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm too shy. Oh, I'm not a creator. Oh, I'm not an artist. I'm not a teacher. I have imposter syndrome. I don't know enough. Who am I to do this?" Who are you to do this? You're a living, breathing human being at this time right now. We have a short lifespan. You're alive right now with this other group of human beings who are alive right now. None of us know better than the other. What if you do know something? What if you do have something really important to share? It's scary, right? It's scary to step into that, but the more that I have successfully stepped into that, aligned with the highest version of myself and successfully stepped into that and shared something vulnerable online, said something vulnerable online, taught someone something that I really believed in my heart and really felt was right, took the leadership role, spoke up, said something when I felt called to do so. The times that I have been brave enough to do it have felt, I felt so alive. It's like, I feel like when you do that, it's like something just like snaps into place and you're like, "Oh, I'm alive. I'm a human. This is how I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be alive. I'm supposed to act. I'm supposed to create. I'm supposed to express. My energy is supposed to be put out. It's not supposed to be bottled in and shoved in and shaken up and wound up, and it's not supposed to fester inside and be stuck inside. It's supposed to be constantly flowing out." So that's kind of what the regular why I want to create and express regularly again. It's like, I don't want to listen to my fears. I've spent so much time listening to my fears, and where have they got me? They've cut me off from what's mine. What's mine is everything. Right? Because we're not limited to this human form. We don't end at the edge of our skin. We go as far as our eyes can see. We go beyond that because our energy is spreading even further than our eyes can see. We actually encapsulate the whole universe. Each of us, really. So it's amazing. It's amazing. What else did I write here? What if you showed up fully embodied and said, no, you know what? I think that this is the way things ought to be. Not from a selfish place and wanting power, but from a place of like, damn, the world's kind of fucked. Like, there's a lot of fear in this world. But you've tasted love, and you know love. And you know that that's the stuff. That's the, what's the word? The potion that cures. What if when you felt the call to create, to express, to share, to lead, to teach, you took it? That's really what I've been thinking about. Okay, that's the episode. Thank you for allowing me to barge this one for the sake of staying on schedule and for the sake of crushing perfectionism. I'm in this experiment of showing up at all costs, showing up with something versus not showing up at all, procrastinating, hiding. So here I am. This is me, guys. I'm pretty sure in the previous episode, I said that I was like refusing to work on weekends and I was being very strict with that. So it's funny that I'm recording this and editing it and scheduling it on a Saturday. But I think that because of the trip I had scheduled, like I'm adjusting. I'm figuring it out. It's all a work in process, but I am really happy to show up for you today. I hope you're all doing well on your journey. We'll definitely be back with probably a longer episode next week. And yeah, just wanted to say I love you. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you soon.